Hello there, Kevin with your Wednesday, December 10th, I believe, 2025 wheat update. Trying to get down out of the wind here. It was 61 degrees this morning as a low. Not common for early December. And the day's high was around 67, so that's not common either. It's a little concerning. Wanted to update real quick. Was hoping to get my report out today, but time's just not going to allow it. It's in the office, enough time in the office, so we're just going to throw out a YouTube real quick and give you an update, and then we'll send out the formal report on probably Friday morning. So, wanted to talk wheat because I sent out a text message the other day that said, we need to make a decision on wheat this week. And well, I wanted to explain that because it's probably kind of hazy on your side. But, oh boy, what a priceless spot here. Just out hiking and the sun's hitting. I'll let you see it. Hey, look at that. That's kind of pretty with the sun the way it is. If you like clouds. Be a little happier if it was snowing, but, maybe in a couple weeks. All right, sorry about that. I know I'd rather look at the canyon too, but so Wheat World, we've been following the text pretty close. We made the note that the monthly charts, weekly charts have both turned the corner, and then the dailies was working on it. It appeared the daily did turn the corner as well, and last week, the governments just got together and started throwing these estimates that are just crazy production numbers. And then we had the USDA report yesterday where not only did they double down on what these other countries were saying, they added to it. So they took numbers that are very difficult to believe and made them even harder to believe. So it just seems very apparent that their goal is to squash this thing and just make sure it does not get any legs, which is strange. But I mean, we've been seeing similar actions in energy markets as well as the financial markets. We've seen, the rate data, the CPIs, the PPIs, some of those rates either not posted or delayed or whatever, and it's like, what is the number not what they want, so they just don't print it? And at the same time, we've got our export data, which is the hard data in the grains, on the slow release program. Their goal is to get it to us by the end of December because of that government shutdown, which seems kind of silly. They have the numbers, give us the numbers. I mean, I need those to direct people the right way. Those are important numbers that I make decisions off of, and we're not going to get those on time. I mean, we got some. Our last drop was Monday. They gave us the export data for November 6th, I think. Yeah, November 6th was our last little hit there. So tomorrow, Thursday, December 11, we will get the November 13th data. So we're still running a month behind. And, we'll be caught up by the end of the month, but damage will be done by then. Market's going to be in a different place by then, or it could be flat, but we're not going to have that data to make any decisions on, which is frustrating. Because this is when South America or Southern Hemisphere usually takes over the exports for a while in the grains, or in the wheat especially. And, are they doing that? Or are the needs in China big enough that they're continuing to buy all along? That is the question we don't get to answer. So, the answer to that question would make my decision easy. Instead, we get a market in the dark. So, very, very aggravating. So, oh man, you gotta see this too. Here, check this out. Look at that. We got some pine trees. We got the pines with the sun on the other side. Just a magical spot down here. All right. So what we need to deal with, if you're following my program, if you're following what I'm doing, we sold some wheat early. We sold some wheat harvest. We sold some wheat on a spike high a while back. And we threw some wheat to pay operating expenses and whatnot. We threw that under the CCC loan to kick that out because we knew everybody was selling at harvest. They had to because operating lines are all maxed out. Everybody's trying to get cash. We got massive fall bills, massive fertilizer bills, seed bills, you name it. And so we had to generate cash. So I threw 30 to 40% into that CCC program to kick that sale out into spring when I thought we'd have a more likely time to have a higher print than we do now. Every time I've avoided the masses, it's worked out well. The masses had to move wheat at harvest in the fall. Therefore, I tried to move, as little as possible in that time. Markets have since bounced since the fall lows, but fighting this USDA report thing and the government thing, I can see a scenario where we go flat sideways and kind of dribble off here for the next month or two, get through Christmas, and January you're going to see some grain sales come in. So we could easily get stuck in a rut here for good 60 days. And if you're still paying interest and storage on that, we've got roughly 30% of the crop out there that we need to make a decision on. We need to decide, are we going to carry that to the spring window, or should we just sell it now, generate the cash in storage expense and interest expense? We can always buy a call later. And if you don't have the ability to do that, please, let me know and I'll send you to one of my brokers. And it's no problem. It's a pain to set up, but once it's set up, at least you have the abilities. That is one route we can go. if you're worried about leaving stuff behind. I guess one of the frustrations about these government numbers is, well, one, there's not very many wheat analysts, okay? Most everybody's in the corn bean camp, and they focus on that, and wheat's a side thing, and they believe the wheat numbers. They believe those and say, oh, there's just wheat everywhere. Yet at the same time, they're saying, man, USDA is 7 bushels too high on their corn yield. The soybean carryout's going to be much tighter than what's being realized. And so it's like, okay, you don't believe those numbers, but you believe the wheat numbers. So anyway, it's tough to tackle this psychology. It really is. We're faced with a lot of battles. So anyway, what frustrates me about these wheat production numbers we're seeing is that the wheat seeded in the fall of 24 for the 25 crop was at a time when the market was at a very low price, and it was chasing acreage away. It was not attracting acreage. In the case of Europe, I believe the acreage was expected to be down 4 to 6%. As far as Russia goes, it was expected to be down 4 to 6%. In the U.S., it is being listed as the second lowest acreage in history, at least reported history. So why are we, and then at the same time, input levels were way down in Europe. Not prices, input being applied were way down in Europe. They were having trouble getting supplies from Russia, so the input prices were elevated. And that for them to come out with a massive record of all records, that just does not add up. Same with the U.S., same with Canada, same with Russia. It just, nothing adds up on this thing. So, but until we run out somewhere, literally run out of the stuff, nobody's going to know the difference. So that's unfortunately the game we're in and the frustration we have. So that one, I think in time, you know, maybe a year and a half down the road, we'll look back and we'll see what really happened and get some truth on it. But that's not today. Today we have to somehow survive. And their number, I mean, it's okay. So they've got record yields for India, record for China, despite China's, you know, very large, well reported drought. Records for Europe, records for Canada. We have records for Argentina, and we're close to the record in Australia. At the same time, they're bumping demand up too, but not quite as fast. So demand's, I thought it'd have to be over the 820 mark. It's 823. Is that accurate? Is it not accurate? It depends on what's being fed. Right now, there's a lot being fed because we've managed to shrink that corn-wheat relationship down to where wheat is attractive. So even more is going to get fed than last year. Now, if we scale into the Pacific Northwest, very small snapshot, not that many co-ops, not that many grain elevators, and they've got their carryout remaining at that 92 million bushel mark. I think they dropped it 1 million bushel, went from 93 to 92. I'm at 35. We're seeing the ground piles disappear way faster than normal. The export pace is faster than last year. Last year's export pace was phenomenal. The crop was way smaller than last year. They've got the crop bigger than last year. So in my opinion, the white wheat crop is 2 million metric tons off on their carryout alone, just in white wheat. So if their U.S. number is off by 2 million metric tons just in the Northwest, you know, you see what I'm saying? It's like, what are we off on this full scale? It's crazy. So anyway, and we've seen the basis do much better things this year than we saw last year, saying the cash is tighter than last year. So if the cash bushels are tighter than last year, why is it being reported just the opposite? Very frustrating. Very frustrating time. I'm going to get here in the wind again. I better go back down the hole. So what do we do with it? Like I said, the CCC stuff, it's in the back burner. We will worry about that. We will worry about that when that late winter, if we get some kind of a shock bounce for some reason, political reason, we can sell it for that. Otherwise, I'm just going to push that off into, Feb, March, April, see what happens. I honestly do not think we'll have a sell window prior to, probably mid-February, unless the futures catch right here, right now. Another thing we need to talk about real quick before I let you go, the aid payment info is coming out. First estimate on the bridge payment is $34 an acre for wheat. I don't know if it's going to be that much. If you recall one of those programs, remember they started at 80 bucks an acre, and I was like, holy smokes, that would do some good. Nope, I think we got 26 by the time they took all their little factors out of it. So the first estimates are 45 bucks an acre. It's I don't know, my estimate is probably going to be in the low 20s. And I hope I'm pessimistic. We'll see. My original estimate was $7 an acre, just because wheat's one of the lower gross income crops, so it's going to get the least share, and so there you go. But we don't compare gross income compared to a lot of those other crops, so therefore we're going to get the smaller payment. But if you divide total acreage by the 11 billion, it works out to like $45 an acre. But corn most likely going to get that or a little bit more. Soybeans probably a little bit more. Wheat less, and canola less. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see how it all turns out. But that'll be paid sometime before February 28th. So I hear. But one of the things that I guess we need to prepare prepare ourselves for is that it seems the track is, the government's going to publish whatever numbers they want, and they can justify it by giving us these little aid things. And so, you know, if you're an 80 bushel wheat grower, you know, you're between the ARC PLC payment you'll get next fall and the payment we'll get in January or Feb this year or coming year, and what we got last fall, you're roughly going to get $1.20 a bushel from the government. So if you add that to the $6 Portland today, or wherever you're from, you know, I guess theoretically you're close to cost. Not quite, but you're close. And that's the theory. So I guess that justifies them being able to do whatever they please. So that's all I got for now. Hope everyone has a good day. Sorry it's a frustrating time, but we're transitioning. I mean, we are transitioning as an industry, so it's not going to go easy. So take care. If I don't talk to you before, have a great Christmas. Bye.